Good evening, everybody. It is me, Luke, and as I mentioned a few days ago, I said I was going to start reacting to Police Interceptors because I wanted to get something going on the YouTube channel that wasn't comedy, because at the moment it seems like that's all we're doing, with the odd different video, like the odd one out video every now and again. I mean, the last one was the top 10 most dramatic moments in court, and obviously there's the odd DMAS reaction. So yeah, Police Interceptors. Never watched it. I mean, I've seen it playing on the telly sometimes, you know, in this house or my grandparents' house. They might be watching it, but I've never sat down and watched it. I've had a check on YouTube to see if other people have put these on, and I am starting off with an episode that someone else has put on YouTube. It's Season 3, Episode 9. Obviously, the ones that aren't allowed on YouTube, they'll go on the Patreon, but I'm going to try and put as many of these on the YouTube channel as possible. So, yeah, let's do this. But for the ones that get blocked and have to go on the Patreon, I'll put them, I'll give the cheapest tiers access to it, so the $1 a month tier, so that everybody, as many of you as possible, get access to it. Let's go.
Police Interceptors, bringing you unrestricted access to most formative. Police Interceptors, bringing you unrestricted access to Durham and Cleveland's most formidable coppers.
Oh, it's a Channel 5 show.
Right. And some of the most action-packed footage ever captured.
I'll remember that for future. I'll better watch it on Channel 5 thingy, won't I?
With British police. We
here.
follow officers as they hunt down and lock up lawbreakers in one of the UK's most challenging regions.
Do you want Tearsrun?
Using high-spec pursuit cars, highly trained police dogs.
They didn't need a beamer to take that thing down.
Get on your knees!
They do about 90 tops.
And specialist firearms officers.
Oh, I'm police.
When the going gets rough, the Interceptors get tough.
Get going. Oh, get tough.
Get out! Down!
This is just a normal day at work.
Coming up, the Interceptors wrestle a reckless road user.
Ah, the stinger.
Make a move on a machete madman.
Oh, please show yourself!
And come down heavy on a hunter.
I want to face!
Wow. Police Interceptors.
The Interceptors can carry out stop checks on any car travelling on Britain's 245,000 miles of road.
Is it your water? What's your name?
245,000 miles of road in the UK. You wouldn't think that, would you? Because it's, what, 200 miles top to bottom? From, like, Southampton to Glasgow, or Inverness. Wow.
While most drivers happily pull over to prove their paperwork's above board and their motor's kosher, there are others who'll do anything to avoid an Interceptor once-over.
Follow you down, mate.
And it's the days when these lawbreakers make a run for it that the Interceptors live for.
This was a massive problem years ago before, you know, everything went online. So, you know, you can go on the .gov website now, type any registration number in, and it'll tell you whether that vehicle's taxed, whether it's insured, all that kind of stuff. Well, not like a member of the public, but if you, like, work for the police or something, they just type your reg in, everything that they need to know comes up. But before that, this kind of stuff, it was rife. It still is, but back then, wow. It was like one of the most
Make a
common
run for
crimes.
it that the Interceptors live for. It's just gone midnight near Hartlepool, and Interceptor Andy Lawson's out and about in one of the team's 3 Series BMWs.
Not too far away from me.
Andy first donned the uniform 14 years ago. He's an
Yeah. I've seen these before. Yeah, I've seen it, like it's like a profile. PC Andrew Lawson, Lotus Car, Lotus Elan, Lotus Elan? Come on, mate, dream a bit bigger than that. Favourite film, Full Metal Jacket. Guilty pleasure, Barry Manilow.
Van's driver with a soft spot for cheeseburgers, but a tough stance on law and order.
Soft spot for cheeseburgers.
And he has a canny knack of being in the right place at the right time.
Ah, he's one of them.
A few miles away, another Interceptor has been given the slip by a red Fiesta. As luck would have it, it's now heading in Andy's direction.
Wow,
Andy
this guy
bangs
is
on
lucky,
the blues, and the 3-litre beast from Bavaria eats up the road like a snack.
Blues and twos.
En route to the last place the Fiesta was spotted, Andy hits pay dirt.
And it's a
The
3 Series
eagle-eyed
BMW,
Interceptor
said,
spots a
right?
red Fiesta gunning it towards him with no lights on.
Quick, U-turn.
And the smart money says it's the same one that just made off from dog handler Mike Ego Eccleston.
903, I'm coming up behind it now. Can you get in touch with the comms inspector? Permissions, TPAC tactics.
TPAC is shorthand for the range of special methods the Interceptors use as a last resort to stop dangerous fleeing vehicles, like boxing a car in or using a stinger. And they might be needed. It's showing no signs of stopping.
Wow, that is an old Fiesta.
Stand by, I think he's going to go off-road.
Whatever the driver's got to hide, he's determined to shake off the law.
Just on the little grassed area. Vehicle's going to stop. Stand by for a decamp. Dogs, are you with me?
But rather than get out and leg it, the cheeky Fiesta driver slips through a tight gap in the railings and back onto the main road.
Yeah.
He's back on the coast road. Are you still behind him, Darren?
Negative, mate. I couldn't get through there.
It's too tight for Andy's Beamer to follow, so
See, this is where a motorbike unit had come in handy.
with a bit of local
But then again, how is a copper on a bike going to stop a car?
knowledge, he's taking a shortcut to head off the feisty Fiesta.
Stay close. Let me know where he's going.
It sounds like Ego's right on its tail.
Has he stopped?
Heading towards Durham.
Now he's ahead of the Fiesta, and he's got to work fast. He's putting out a stinger, a bed of hollow nails that'll puncture the runaway Fiesta's tyres and stop it dead in its tracks. Burning off those burgers, Andy legs.
Sorry guys, I know this seems a bit rude, but I need to rest my knee and extend it. I've got a bad knee, I don't know what I've done to it.
It into position. And the trap is set. But it doesn't look like he's going to need it.
Your move. What, is he going to stop?
Turn the engine off! Engine off! Get out! Down!
All right.
Down! Down! Give me a hand! Now! Not knowing who or what he's dealing with, Andy's
messing
taking no
around.
chances
Well.
and slaps on the cuffs.
Yeah, exactly.
you
Yeah.
do that
Don't
for?
take any chances.
It's been honest, Mariel, mate. I've had a bad day. I'm so very, very sorry. That's all I can say. I'm very
Can I have a
sorry.
van?
He says he was having a bad day, but after making off from 2 cop cars in the last 20 minutes... Down! Down! It's probably not going to get any better.
Silly thing to do, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, just I've had a bad day, mate. To me, honest, Mariel, right? And I've
With all
been...
the respect to you, Nana, why are you doing silly things?
I know.
Do you know what I mean?
Now I'm going to go in jail over something stupid.
Yep.
Stupid's the right word for someone who thought he could outrun the Interceptors in a tatty old Fiesta.
Yeah.
Now they're wondering if he nicked it.
Oh,
Whose car is
man, they're roasting his car now. Come on.
Mine, mate. I bought it there.
You haven't just nicked the car?
Mate.
Old Fiesta.
Did you just check his backy pouch for weed?
Now they're wondering if he nicked it.
Whose car is it?
Mine, mate.
Unbelief.
I bought it there.
Sounds about right.
You haven't just nicked the car?
I've got the logbook in my pocket there, mate. Go in that pocket there.
Oh, is it?
Ego's happy it is his car, but he's being nicked for driving off in it from the cops. However, they're still not really sure why he didn't want to stop.
Have you had anything tonight?
You smoke cannabis? Yeah, I've smoked cannabis, that's it.
Ah, right.
A quick sniff around the motor reveals a bit more than air freshener.
A little bit of bush.
The
The gentleman's been arrested for failing to stop for police. He's also got no insurance. Found some cannabis in the vehicle. He's also been arrested for possession of cannabis.
Having found the driver's stash of wacky backy, the cops turn their attention to the female passenger.
Oh dear, oh Oh dear, oh dear. What's this?
None of that is mine.
Well,
I've been to a presentation.
What is it?
Well, I don't know.
Well, it looks like...
Well, it's either whiz or something, isn't it?
Yeah, clearly. Cocaine or amphet and a bit of cannabis bush there as well.
That's about...
The passenger might have some marching powder in her handbag, but she won't be walking far tonight.
No. Oh,
There's a lesson to be learned as well about wearing suitable shoes.
No, my shoes are in my bag.
Yeah,
I've been
but-
to a football presentation.
But they're not comfy, are they?
No.
Couldn't even dance in them.
Not that she'll need to, as there's no dance floor where she's headed.
No.
So you've got possession of interest in your bag, so you're under arrest on possession of controlled substance. Don't have to say anything from harm your defensive, don't mention when questioned. Something which you later rely on in court, anything you do say may be given evidence.
Yeah. Can you just arrest her and fucking get rid of her so I don't have to look at her dirty feet anymore?
Understand what that means?
Can I look something?
With both the driver and passenger in cuffs, the drugs were enough to satisfy the Interceptors' curiosity
It's on the floor
about
again.
why they failed to stop. It seems the Fiesta stopped just short of the Stinger when the driver burnt out the clutch trying to escape, much to Andy's frustration.
He could have gone
Well,
a bit
it's
further and
old.
let me sting him, because I get a badge if I sting him, but a good little result,
Do you?
to be honest.
I didn't know
Andy
that.
may have missed out on his badge by inches, but at least someone's getting stung tonight. Turns out the driver lacked more than clutch control. He had no licence and no insurance. Get out! Down! He also pleaded guilty to failing to stop, failing to provide and driving without due care and attention. The powder in the passenger's handbag was amphetamine. She was cautioned for possession.
Class C, I think, amphetamine, is it? So at least it wasn't coke. I think mere possession is 10 years now, isn't it?
Of that and the bag of cannabis. Still to come,
Driving ban, possession of Class C, cannabis. Cannabis of Class B though. Class C, Class B. A couple of years, probably. Unless it's the first offence, they might get off with a, suspended in CS.
Boy Racer versus Building will only have one winner.
And it's collided with their house that was here.
And it's
Ouch.
guns out to hunt down a man with a machete.
Oh, we're gonna have an arm.
Oh, please show yourself!
Most of Britain's knife crime occurs in its biggest cities.
Can I just say, it's an incredible contrast, isn't it? In America, police turn up to locations with automatic weapons, so our armed police use HKG 36 assault rifles, and I think they use Glock pistols as well. So in America, the police that use automatic assault rifles, they're turning up to take someone down who's probably got an AR-15 or, some really heavy-duty weapon. We send our armed police out to somebody who's basically got a knife. It's amazing, isn't it? The difference between the two countries. One simple law due to, what was it called? One law can make, I've forgotten the name.
Especially inner city. Most of Britain's knife crime occurs in its biggest cities.
How can I forget?
Especially in
The school in Scotland where there was a shoot. How can I forget that? I do apologise. I remember it.
inner city London, Birmingham and Glasgow. But there's been a worrying rise in the figures for England and Wales. It's 11:30 and dogman Ian Squire is out on patrol with his German Shepherd, Kaiser. Kicking out time often leads to kicking
Kaiser.
off time, and Squires' had a worrying late-night request on his police radio.
We've got a report of, I think it was some sort of disturbance at an address. Someone involved in that has reportedly used or been and still in possession of a machete.
More details are coming in all the time from members of the public.
He seemed either very drunk or very high, but he had a very large machete, shouting, "Come on, come on, come on."
about. Why would he?
With a machete madman on the loose, the cops are going prepared for the worst. Ahead of Squizey is driver Steve Brandt and his Sarge Kev Salter in a special BMW. Ahead of Squizey is driver Steve Brandt and his Sarge Kev Salter in a special BMW, an armed response X5.
We've had several reports of a male who was known as Martin.
So no big SWAT van that you'd get in America.
Is carrying a machete, very intoxicated, currently wearing a light coloured hooded top.
Bronze, yes.
Dogs, I'm not far off. Are we RVing anywhere, Bronze?
Tango 1, you want an RV or slip the address?
The Interceptors have been given the go-ahead from Silver Command, their boss in the control room, to get their guns out.
We've been given full firearms authority for deployment should the situation take a turn for the worst.
You know, yeah, they're going into a dangerous situation and they'll be aware of that, but it must be like a really, maybe not happiness, but adrenaline, excitement sort of feeling as soon as your command gives you the go-ahead to go in armed, you know? Because of how rare it is in the UK as a police officer to use any type of weapon. You know, you walk down any major city, any street in any major city in the UK, the most dangerous weapon you'll find most coppers carrying is a taser gun. So it must give them like some sort of some kind of excitement.
Which means obviously we're going to be armed with our less than lethal weapons, such as the baton gun. Should the gentleman not comply, hopefully when we find him. Obviously our biggest priority at the moment is finding him, so he doesn't pose a risk anymore to members of the public.
Units on scene.
They suspect the machete man's in his girlfriend's house and they're concerned for her safety.
Do you want to see if you can get around the back?
Tension's high and Kaiser's twitchy. He's straining at his leash to get in on the action.
Perfect name for a German Shepherd, that.
Officers are currently carrying out an area search and we're getting the helicopter up to see if we can find him. He's made various threats.
That was a German Shepherd, wasn't it? It's still game. Struggling to remember that as well.
To his relatives saying that he's carved somebody up at this address.
The police chopper is hovering overhead, making sure the suspect's got no chance to make a run for it.
It's not just a threat, this guy's actually... Wow, okay.
The lights are on, but the house seems deserted apart from some empties.
About 20 Stella bottles lined up on the table.
Oh, and he's drunk. Drunk and with a machete. He's, quote, carved somebody up at this address in the past. Yeah, armed or not, rather you than me, lads.
It's up to the control room commander to give the order to go in.
He only has to get enough time to launch it. At one of them when it hits the right end. Game over.
Yes.
Well, the door's going in with the help of some heavy-duty bolt cutters.
Don't go in, Richie.
Oh, please, everybody in the building, show yourself! Oh, please, show yourself! Oh, please, show yourself! Show yourself!
Too quiet.
The house is empty. No machete man.
What?
Dress has been searched, top and bottom. No signs of any person at the address. There is a dog inside in the cage, but no persons present.
Go down.
So he's legged it.
But the eye in the sky has a lead on the ground.
The helicopter's picked up a heat source at this address over here at the back of it in the garden, so we're just going to check it out.
Do you want the dog to do the heat source?
Don't say this big bad man's hiding in the garden.
The chopper's infrared camera is so sensitive it can pick up a suspect hiding out in someone's back garden or even in a plastic wheelie bin. It's time for the Kaiser to go hunting. If there's still a suspect on the loose with a machete, he'll soon sniff them out.
Kaiser will find him. Go on, Kaiser.
Yeah, I'll leave it there. It's a cat.
That could have got messy.
It's a false alarm.
It was a heat source. Helicopter quite rightly seen it. We needed to check it out just in case it was someone hiding up. It's a cat, so...
it's a cat!
Yeah, we'll leave that one be. It's not there anymore.
You guys would have gone after that as passionately as the criminal.
Having checked out the surrounding area and found nothing, the Interceptors have drawn a blank.
There's no further intelligence coming to light. He's not showing his face anymore. Now put on the wanted list and get him at a later date.
When a report like this comes in, the Interceptors don't take chances. To the team's relief, no one's been hurt tonight, and they're standing down.
As far as you know...
36 hours, will rescind the authority. Thank you very much.
As predicted, the machete man was picked up at a later date. In fact, the very next day. In court, he pleaded guilty to assault, criminal damage, and possession of a machete in a public place. Given a 16-week prison sentence, suspended for 2 years, and fined £320.
Wait, so this guy sliced someone up with a machete, criminal damage, possession of... yeah, and he got a suspended sentence for 2 years. So he didn't even go to jail. This country's a fucking joke.
The machete was destroyed.
But someone selling a bag of weed will get 5 years. Same with nonces, they're getting out nowadays.
In County Durham, it's the start of the shift for Interceptors Ian Bully Bulmer and behind the wheel, Paul Jackson. Policing the roads is a major part of their job, and if there's one thing they can't stand, it's idiot drivers.
I hate them too.
Jacko's a 17-year veteran.
17 years. Favourite food, popcorn, favourite book, Salem's Lot.
Having joined the force back in 1998. His favourite superhero is Batman, and like the Cape Crusader, he's on a mission to fight crime, catching the crooks and jokers that ignore the law. A call has just come in from an estate near a place called Crook.
Crook?
Past 20 minutes, the car has collided with his house fence and has made off. Registration plate still there.
Oh, he's left the plate.
Somebody's saying a car has smashed into their garden fence and then taken off.
And it's collided with their house, did you say?
It's collided with the fence at Hall Lane Estate.
Roger, we'll see if we can box her off.
The Interceptors search for the tiniest clue to the driver's identity.
Somewhere around here, I think that's where the collisions occurred, which will be where that bumper is.
Yeah, his number plate ought to do it. A quick check reveals this criminal mastermind lives just up the road.
We're just about to go to a detail, but go on.
But before they can get there, Jacko's got an important call coming in.
It's your favourite auntie-in-law?
Oh, hello, how are we doing?
On the job. Really?
Are you okay?
I am. I'm just about to go and deal with an idiot that's crashed the car.
It's not going to take Batman to crack this one. The Joker has parked the car in the street, minus its bumper.
Wow.
Hello. You
Hello.
alright? What's happened?
Someone's took your car.
Right. Is he meant to take your car? Where's he at?
Upstairs.
The tearful lady is upset that her boy's in trouble with the law. Either that, or she's shedding a tear for her pride and joy.
So he didn't have your permission to take the car?
I doubt it's that. Well,
the report said that there were passengers in the car.
We've got information to say that you were in the car with him.
I was in the... No.
Potentially?
No.
Mum's adamant she wasn't one of them.
Mike 3-4.
Did you have a drink or anything?
Can you just give us the exact information, re this hit and run at Wellington?
Get down here. Now.
There's no mention of any of the
Get down here, now.
Being in there. So the car's parked in the owner's drive and doesn't have any other mention of anyone else in that vehicle at the time.
Lovely. I've obviously got my wires crossed. I think my colleagues in the process are locking him up.
According to the control room info, the crash was all his own work.
Sorry about that, darling. It was misinformation.
But Bully still believes otherwise.
Apparently there's 3 of us in the car.
3?
3 of his mates.
Where are they at?
Took off.
Pissed off, aren't they? Yeah.
Because he didn't have permission to drive the car, the woman's son's arrested for taking the vehicle without consent, or TWOC, and he's going to be breathalyzed.
Twocking.
Well, maybe I'll do a roadside breath test with. Give him the 3 names, apparently 2.
The thought of getting locked up is enough to make the whole family weep.
So keep blowing, keep blowing, keep blowing, keep blowing, keep blowing. Stop.
Why twock a car then? That you know you're not supposed to drive? Crying at your fucking mum. Don't make stupid decisions.
Keep hold of that. Fail. Right, because of that, you're further under arrest on suspicion of providing a positive breath test. If you just sit tight for now, fella, I'll come back and speak to you in a second, alright?
Jacko's had a tip-off. He's heard that a couple of the lad's mates who were in the car are in a house across the road.
Oh, you don't move to in that car?
Yeah.
You both locked up on suspicion of aggravated vehicle taken.
The boys are in big trouble from the law and their mum.
How many friends you do not mention when questioned?
It's also embarrassing that he's getting done for twocking his mum's car as well. Pathetic.
And something you line in court. Anything you do say in
license. He told us he passed his test, his mum paid.
Of course he did.
This is the second time.
Of course he did.
The lad's being arrested too. It's a crying shame.
Have you either of you two been in trouble before?
No, never.
It may be a case that he just gets locked up, but if that's what he's told you, we can get a statement from you.
He said his mum let him drive his car. He told us that his mum paid for his.
So what happened after he crashed?
We tried to climb out. I got out. I said, what have you done, Adam? I said, what have you done? Then he said, he started saying he passed your test. He started saying his mum's going to kill him. He said his mum's going to kill him.
I take you'll be prepared to give statements.
See, one person says it and then he repeats it straight after. His mum said he was going to kill. His mum said he was going to kill him. Yeah. Yeah. Don't forget, I live in a town where I'm surrounded by people like this. Yeah.
Try and get locked up.
The boys are prepared to hold the driver responsible rather than face charges.
Of course they are.
Jacko just needs to be sure he's doing the right thing with Bully.
Go on, mate.
When shit gets on top, look after number one.
Thanks.
Yeah, we've got 2 potential superstar witnesses here. These 2 seem pretty genuine. If he's going to take it on the chin, then champion, but if he's going to drag his mates into it, then we'll lock them up as well. But they seem quite genuine.
I'll get back to you in a second.
Come here, boy.
Right, fella, the other 2 over there, did you tell them that you had permission to take the car and you had a full licence, etc.? Because they're saying that you did.
I just said, let's go in the car.
Right, did you give them any reason to think that you didn't have a licence?
No.
Nothing.
They were asking if I can drive and I went, yeah, but I had a few lessons.
Right.
Yeah, I've had 5 2-hour lessons.
Right. Oh.
With all of 10 hours driving experience, the Lewis Hamilton wannabe thought he was ready to race around his estate.
Just jump out for us, fella. You want to sit in the back of this van here? This guy's going to take you down to the police station.
When his alcohol level was retested down at the station, the young driver was found to be under the legal limit and wasn't charged with drink driving. But he was found guilty of aggravated vehicle taking, driving without insurance or a full licence, driving without due care, and failing to stop at the scene of an accident. He was given a 12-month community order, 150 hours unpaid work, fined a total of £310, and banned from driving for a year.
Wait.
All that just to show off to his mates. Wow.
Idiotic. His mates have said that he's been driving a bit like a loony around the streets of Wellington. Hopefully he hasn't clattered into anything else. But yeah, you can see we've got kids out playing on the streets. It's quite a nice day.
Exactly.
And the way he's come round the corner, he's gone fast enough to lose the front of his car. If there'd have been somebody in front of that, it would have been a tragedy, and he would have been going away for a little while. It's a steep learning curve for him, isn't it?
Still to come, the Interceptors get their paws on a drug dealer's stash.
But I wouldn't like to think if the dog had ingested that.
And a drunk with a gun is looking for a fight.
Out your pocket.
Get up there, right.
Ball.
Come here, fatty.
Official figures show that armed police are more likely to be called out in Cleveland and Durham than almost any other similar-sized force area in the country.
I can't believe that. I've been to Durham a lot. If it's County Durham up north, above Newcastle, I've been there a lot. I used to go there to play football, and yeah, the people, nice people, not wrong with them, you know, but you could tell the general area. Darlington, that's where it was. Darlington, that area, very rough area. Yeah. And I've heard about Darlington on similar programmes to this. Yeah. Makes sense.
That's why the Interceptors have to be highly trained.
Oh, please show yourself!
Highly equipped and highly motivated. Nick Prest has been a copper for 17 years.
Dream car, a Skoda. God, these people aren't very ambitious, are they? Favourite superhero, Iron Man. Favourite hobby, road cycling. Oh, well, I suppose someone who's passionate about cycling is not really going to have much of a passion for cars. A Skoda, though. Come on, Nick. A Skoda what? Fabia?
He's firearms trained, and like his hero Iron Man, he's big, bad news for bad guys, and armed with a 5 Series Beamer, he can fly.
5 Series Beamer. 530.
Presty's got his pedal to the metal.
5 Series.
Someone's been seen hanging around a graveyard with a rifle.
There's been a report of, I think, a man with a air weapon in a cemetery over at Trimden. I think he's been there for some time, just lying in a sniper's position.
It may be an air weapon, but like all firearms in the wrong hand.
I think the 5 Series with 150 on the speedo might be 530s or 525s. I don't know. It's a different era, this, isn't it?
Hands, it can be lethal.
Gorry local unit just going to go and check it out. Apparently the caller sees at the front of the churchyard now, so we'll just drop along as well and see what's going on.
Arriving at the cemetery beside the church, it's clear a full-arm response isn't going to be necessary. His colleagues on the graveyard shift have things under control.
Get out and see what's happening.
The gunman's wearing combat fatigues, but he's more blind drunk than crack soldier. Sleeping seems more likely than sniping.
I've got a bad knee from now.
Right. From now?
Taking a picture?
Just realised.
He's got absolutely no idea what he might have done wrong. All he cares about is his sore knee.
Well, the gun, what's happened with the gun, mate? Have you been shooting? This is your gun, isn't it?
As long as it's an air rifle and not over certain power, it doesn't need a firearms licence. But if the man's deemed unfit, he could have it confiscated.
No, I'm going nowhere, so don't you start with me.
What's your first name?
Here we got another Darwin Award winner nominee. Darwin Award nominee. Imagine actually doing that. Threatening a copper. Don't start with me! You might as well just put your arms out and say, go on, put the cuffs on me, please, sir. What a fucking prat.
He could have more weapons on him, so the cops are searching him.
Aye?
Have you got anything on you?
You're running around with a gun, drunk.
I haven't got any.
You seriously think you
just
just
whilst I search you, you're going to be cuffed, all right?
But it's proving easier said than done.
What's your first name?
You doing?
What's your first name?
Like, seriously, what the is doing?
Calm down.
You are!
Just because you're here, because you're here and you've got a gun, right? Somebody's rang in and they just want to know what you're here, want to know what your name is.
Go and...
Because you're a bit drunk, aren't you?
Get off me balls,
All we doing, mate, is make sure you haven't got a knife or anything on you, because you're out shooting, aren't you?
Knife? A knife?
Have you got anything?
No,
like that?
I haven't got a knife.
Right, that's all we're doing.
He says he hasn't got a knife on him, but the cops aren't convinced.
Well, just tell us.
Where's it in this one?
Maybe up there.
Whereabouts?
On my belt there. I nobody have a knife, but...
What, when you're out with a gun, you have a knife for sorting stuff out with that, do you? Right, that's all.
What's that
It's over there, is it?
Oh, he dropped it.
What the is this all about?
What's your name?
Because you've been seen and reported to us by a member of the public saying there's a lad lying in with what they thought was a gun or a stick, so we've come down to check out, right?
What's your name?
Right, what's in this pocket?
Suddenly, the drunk hunter kicks off.
Nothing. Stop!
Down!
Stop!
Calm
Stop it! Down. Stop it! Not you.
Listen.
Do it then. See what happens.
His knee seems to have recovered and he's using it on the cop, trying to restrain him. Now the kid gloves are off. The camo yob is getting banged up for assault.
Assaulting a police officer. Oh, what
It would be easier if you just got in the van.
It would be easier if you just go get in.
Calm down.
But he doesn't want to go down without a fight.
In the
Stop
van.
it.
Get in the van. Get in the
And
van.
I'll get in the van without wanting to.
Get in the
All
van.
right.
You're the one on the floor.
Oh, that hurt. Prick.
Just calm
I
down.
won't fight you.
Imagine being that. Imagine knowing that. Being related to that.
What's the
I
point?
want to fight you. You're wrong.
We're just going to put these straps on you so you're not going to kick out.
The Interceptors are trussing the man up for his own good.
I wonder if it'd be different if we weren't a camera there.
Just going to stand you up. Yeah.
No.
1, 2,
I'll tell you
3.
what.
Stand up.
There you go. Now shimmy your feet toward.
Don't get off this.
With the would-be hunter safely banged up and satisfied he never had a knife,
Just bend your legs.
Mind your hands, you're going to get crushed.
for Presty, it's just another day in the wild northeast.
Yeah, that's just what happens around here sometimes. He's obviously had a massive drink and he's out hunting with rabbits or whatever, and he wasn't happy speaking to us, so I think he took offence with Andy, and then obviously when he gets quite violent, you've got to take him to the floor and get them restrained.
Yep.
Thanks to Presty's years of experience, no other members of the public were hurt and no guns were needed.
He's all right in there now, he's calmed quite down, like, and we've got his details, so when he gets down he'll get booked in the cells and get dealt with when he sobers up.
The hunter was found guilty of being drunk and disorderly and of assaulting a PC. He was given 12 months community service, fined a total of £280 and had his gun taken away.
See, again, assaulting a police officer, community service. Fucking joke.
And he's out shooting.
Put him inside. Even if it's only for 6 months. You know, I'd rather a piece of shit like that do 6 months inside rather than just 12 months community service. Because that's not, do a bit of work for a year. Or get all your freedom taken away for 6 months. Which would you rather? Someone assaulted you, right? Like he assaulted them just now. So it wasn't a full-on assault. He just, kneed him a couple of times. Didn't hurt him. But if that were you, what would you rather happen to the person who did it? Would you rather they do 12-month community service, which is piss easy anyway, or do 6 months inside? It's a no-brainer really, isn't it?
Some police chases end with no one being caught, but it's a safe bet the bad guy will get a knock on the door shortly afterwards, and not from the Avon lady.
The Avon lady. You die ourselves, Avon.
Last night, a driver took off and disappeared. So this morning, Interceptor Lee Benson is going round the house of the person they think did the runner.
Some information from a couple of local residents who've identified this male as possibly been using this vehicle.
Lee's been a copper now for 13
Favourite sportsman,
years.
Lewis Hamilton. Favourite band, Stereophonics. Okay.
He claims that if he had all
right,
the money
Benson.
in the world, he'd use it to buy the house next door to Kylie Minogue so they can be good neighbours.
Alright, mate, calm down. If I had all the money in the world, I'd use it to buy the house next door to Kylie Minogue so we can be good neighbours. Not something you want to hear from a copper. I'm joking, but seriously.
In this age of
Weird.
CCTV and high-speed mobile internet, it's harder than ever to avoid the long arm of the law.
We can get all the information, addresses, etc., and images and photos, so it makes ID pretty easy, a lot simpler. It was the ARV that they made off from initially yesterday, so I've just come down to assist with them. That's probably the latest up-to-date photo of him. It's the last one in custody.
Resplendent in his shades, Sergeant John Stockeld arrives in the ARV, the Armed Response Vehicle.
Do you know what he looks like? Yeah, I'll follow you around.
As the Sarge goes round the front of the property, Lee is checking out the back. He thought he saw someone leaving through the garden, but it can't have been the suspect. He's inside the house, already being questioned by the ARV crew.
There's a key for your back door as well. Yeah, I'm sleeping in the door, mate. I've no partner's got a front door key.
Is anybody else in the house?
No, there's no one else in here.
They were going to be carrying out searching the premises under section 32 of PACE. Okay. I'll give you the form on the table. Yeah. Is there anything in the house? It shouldn't be here. No. It shouldn't be here.
As he's the suspect in a fail to stop, the cops are searching him and his house.
Yeah, this is the one that they were
The
on about
Interceptors are looking for any evidence to tie the man to the car that scarpered from them last night.
Just do us a favour. Put your hands out like that.
Before they rummage around, the man's being arrested and cuffed. John's clock there's a big dog outside.
No dogs in the house, Stephen. It's outside, isn't it? So when we leave the house, is that dog alright to stay there? That dog's alright there, yeah.
Being a dog owner himself,
Nice.
John's concerned about it.
Yeah, that dog's alright to be left outside in the garden while I'm stuck in a police station for however long. Yeah, nice one, mate.
Welfare while the owner's away.
Has it been fed and watered?
Just get some water.
Yeah, I'll put the water out for the dog. Yeah. So just a boxer, isn't it?
Feed him.
Yeah, boxer, yeah.
Oh, he's a boxer. I love boxers. Oh. And you know the thing I hate about people and boxers, they think because they look similar to like certain pit bull breeds, or you know, they have like that body structure and face, they think they're dangerous. They're really not. Honestly, boxers, they are like children. Ask anybody who has boxers, like more than one. They're absolutely beautiful. The most kindest animals you could ever hope to meet.
Fine.
Satisfied the boxer will be okay, the suspect is taking down the nick, while Lee and the Sarge get on with the search.
We're just looking for anything in relation to the vehicle, anything, any ownership, logbook.
They make very good service dogs as well. Very good friend of mine in America, she's got boxers. She's got, I think, 4, 5. My favourite's, he's all white. He's called Dublin. He's blind, I think. Totally deaf. He understands sign language. But, oh, they're amazing. Anyway, yeah.
Car keys, MOTs, anything that'll point out that you're using a vehicle.
Lee spied something, but it's not car-related.
Just evidence of any cannabis use.
Skinning up tray.
It's just a bud, isn't it?
Yes. More bags. These obviously indicate possibility of dealing.
Driving offences are quickly becoming the least of the man's problems.
Small little grip seal bags. A box full of them might indicate possibly dealing. We'll have a look around, see if we can find anything else.
The drugs are possibly why the man didn't stop last night, and a very good reason to carry on the search.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the Sarge is a bit quick on the draw.
Can't get the build quality these days, can you?
Before he does any more damage, John goes and checks on the boxer. He's more of an animal kind of guy.
Look at that, call of the wild.
We'd get on there.
Come on, son.
Back inside, Lee's found something abandoned in the oven.
Some of that for your tea.
It's a bit of a dog's dinner. Lee wasn't the only one who saw a man leaving out the back when they first arrived. John did too.
When we turned up with the property, the armed response lads went to the front of the premises and I went to the rear and I saw the same lad and he came out and he went towards this little shed here and what I think is the dog kennel. And when you turned up, Lee, I thought he was going over the fences. I thought we'd spooked him a bit earlier. So worth a look then.
Customer.
John's getting that sixth sense twitch about the dog kennel.
Here's the dogs. And in the corner there, it's cannabis.
That's like an ounce. So this guy hides his cannabis stash in his dog's kennel. Wow. Right. Okay. I'm not gonna become hysterical. Cannabis can be actually can be quite beneficial to dogs if they've got certain conditions, especially epilepsy. But that is a lot. If that dog ate that, it would be very ill. Jesus.
It's a doggy bag.
This dog better get taken off this wanker after all this. That's the minimum I want. I don't care about his sentence. I just hope that dog gets confiscated from...
Bag of cannabis.
Fortunately, if it had been a big ferocious dog, that might put quite a lot of bobbies off. We've built up a bit of a rapport, and the dog seems to quite like us. and he's letting in there. But I wouldn't like to think if the dog had ingested that.
Yeah. Love people.
Then we'd have been looking at animal cruelty as well. Go on, you. Obviously, the police turned up and thought, quick, I'll go and hide it in the...
Dogs, they explore with their noses. He's the same. You know, when he were younger, I thought I was... You know, if I had like some sweets or some chocolate and I hadn't eaten them all, I'd stash them somewhere in this room, thinking, he's not going to find these. Okay, if I had enough drinks tomorrow night, even I'd forget where these are. But I'd wake up the next morning and the wrapper would be on the floor, empty. He'd have found it. That's what dogs do. They explore with their noses. And when they find something that smells curious, like cannabis does, they'll try it. So, yeah, definitely animal cruelty. You're putting your dog in real danger there.
I'm going to hide it at the kennel, thinking that we're not really going to hook in here.
I don't like a kennel either.
When he finds out how unscary his guard dog was, the man was going to be one sick puppy.
Good lad. If it weren't for you, son, I wouldn't have looked in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a dog as well, isn't it? Always.
The dog actually
normally
helped
it works
the
in
police.
your favour. It's on your boots.
John calls in the good news.
Yeah, just to add further to that, we found
your dog turned
bag
you
of green in the dog kennel, and
that's like the dog giving a cry for help, isn't it? When you think about it, that's good. That
dealer's bags, so
good boy.
There's probably going to be a further arrest in it as well. So just sit tight. We're nearly done here.
The Interceptors have bagged over £400 worth of cannabis. The jobs are good.
Yeah, the dog was...
So, yeah, that's about an ounce. So about 180, 200, yeah. Oh, not 2, probably, might be 2.
Quite friendly, which I'm pretty glad of.
Get some time
if he'd had a vicious dog, I don't think we'd have been going in there too quickly. Yeah, it's probably at half the bag before we've arrived. It's probably why it's been quite mellow.
The suspect was pretty mellow too.
He was quite calm, and for somebody had that amount of cannabis in the house, he wasn't kicking more of a stink up. He was just happy for us to come along with us. I think to try and get us out of the house as quickly as possible.
Yeah,
there was no evidence to tie the laid-back suspect to the driving offences from the
dog was cheeched and he was chonged.
previous night. He was done for the possession of cannabis with intent to supply and was given an 18-month community ordered to do 200 hours unpaid work and pay £100 in fines and charges.
And what about the dog?
In 100 minutes for the possessor
to come along with us. I think to try and get us out of the house as quickly as possible.
There was no evidence to tie the laid-back suspect to the driving offences from the previous night. He was done for the possession of cannabis with intent to supply and was given an 18-month community order, fines and charges.
So he got to keep the dog, didn't even get a custodial sentence. Fucking bullshit.
In 2013, for the first time, the number of licensed drivers aged over 70 reached 4 million. However, for many people, there comes a point where they're no longer able to drive safely, and it's time to hang up the car keys once and for all.
It is a problem. You hear about it all the time in like the little shitty papers, don't you? A 95-year-old gets caught driving down the motorway the wrong way, all that sort of thing. It is a problem.
Interceptors Phil Muir and Pete
Darlington, I've been there. Went to the football stadium. That were out of place. You know, that big modern football stadium in the middle of what was essentially a shithole.
Gibson, Gibber, are out on patrol on the outskirts of Darlington when a call comes in about an elderly driver.
We smashed them. They were shite.
Skoda Octavia. He's wiped 2 vehicles out and he's ended up...
Yeah, I'll never forget it. I was about 12 and they had a centre-back and he was about 1.5 foot taller than I was. And I made him look like one of Oompa Loompas. Just running around him. Wow.
On the path, just down from Hoskins Pub.
No wonder they're in non-league if that were the youth team, state of the youth team.
He's lost control of his motor
juniors,
and gone careering up onto a busy pavement full of shoppers. There's no time to lose.
Hoskins, it's right in the town centre.
Gibber's flooring it, and luckily Phil knows the way.
Coming up there, just all one way up that way.
So up here?
Yeah, we'll be here to the roundabout and then we'll straight away.
When they arrive, they find the stricken car beached on the pavement. wedged improbably between the shops and a signpost.
Hey, mate, all right.
Phil and Gibbert are quickly brought up to speed.
He's reversed into here. He's gone into the back of that car. He's then gone forwards.
Yeah.
Lost it.
Yeah.
It's like a disability car.
Oh, I see, right, yeah.
He's lost it.
The Skoda looks like it's been in a tumble dryer. With pedestrians around, it could have been carnage.
Bless him.
Miraculously, no one was hit by the out-of-control car, and the driver seems to be okay.
He's hit the back of that Ford Ranger there.
Yeah.
And he's gone up onto the curb here.
Right.
And driven the full length of this curb.
All right, I'm with you.
To the point where people are coming out of shops and then diving back in.
Right.
Mind you, there were signs, you know, my granddad, there were signs that he was starting to lose that sort of control you have over your vehicle. Remember once we were in Sainsbury's car park, reversing into a parking space, and there was a sign behind it, and he just twatted it. He just hit it, you know. He kept, and it kept saying, there's a post behind us, be careful. He hit it, he said, that'd be right. It's funny actually that something really terrible happened to him that stopped him driving. He had an accident. I told you about it. He fell and fractured his back, but he never drove again. And amazingly, I think that was kind of a saving grace, because every time my dad had been in car with him, he'd have a new story about how they'd nearly hit something, or, you know, and he was 80 last year. And the accident was about 6 months before that, so yeah, it's an issue, and it is sad to see your relatives, you know, losing their abilities, but it's for their own good. So if you have a relative who's getting on and you're noticing their driving ability getting, you know, they're becoming less competent, speak up, because you don't want them to end up in an accident, do you? And hurting themselves or somebody else. So, luckily, we avoided that amazingly. But that accident took that responsibility off all of us, because I think we were going to have to do it at some point. We were going to have to say something, because it was becoming dangerous, but as I said, it happened and he didn't drive again. Obviously COVID helped as well.
Town centre CCTV shows how the driver lost control of his car and hurtled dangerously up on the pavement. It shows how the driver lost control of his car and hurtled dangerously up on the pavement. Somehow he didn't hit a soul.
Thankfully, it is a damage-only accident. It's through good fortune more than anything else that nobody has been injured. It is quite serious.
One person, what's that? One of them
The
shops?
cops need to get to the bottom of why it happened.
I was trying to do the conventional reverse into the parking space. As I'm doing that lock...
No. You can't make the excuse of I was trying to reverse into a parking space for driving 40-50 metres down a pavement, mate. No.
The car then starts to go up
forward.
The pavement.
Have you done fast driver details?
Okay.
So the car just started driving itself, did it? It's a fucking 2010 Skoda, mate. It probably doesn't even have cruise control. Never mind self-driving capabilities like a Tesla.
Driver error, a mistake that any of us could make as we get older.
Can you see out this or not?
Not really.
No.
Now it's down to Gibber to undo the mess.
Right, left hand down a little bit. Absolutely fine at this side, right? Absolutely fine.
They never covered this in advanced driver training.
There you go.
Good driving, that. I bet you wouldn't like to do that again, would you?
Following the elderly driver's unplanned excursion onto the pavement, it was decided that his driving career had reached the end of the road and his licence was revoked. Still to come, the Interceptors give some pill poppers a dose of strong medicine.
He'll get the bus everywhere now. Again, my granddad, he's on the bus all the time now. Never seen him get on a bus in his life before. Now he's on them every week. Loves it.
When I said honesty's the best policy, yeah, what are all those tablets in your pocket?
Thing thing is though, the car for my granddad, it was more of like his smoking room. Because my granddad smokes a pipe and my grandma hates it. It makes her ill. You know, the smell of it makes her feel sick, dizzy, gives her headaches. So he used to go sit in the car and smoke his pipe. Because he doesn't smoke pipe tobacco anymore. He just breaks off little bits of cigars and puts it in smoke. Oh, it stinks. But that's what the car was for him as he got older. So it was like his little place, just go and chill out and have a smoke. So that's another reason why it were a sad thing for him to lose his car. It's alright, just sits on set now.
All around the country, cops have their own local lingo. This afternoon, Acting Sergeant Paul Faulkner is out on patrol in Stockton-on-Tees near Middlesbrough, hunting for stovies.
Stovey is police slang in this force for a stolen vehicle.
Oh,
can get called
stolen vehicle, right, yeah.
Called SMVs, stolen motor vehicles, but generally Stovey is what we use.
Mint is another of Paul's favourites.
Mint. Well, there's mint or there's proper mint. Mint is good.
Yeah,
I like
mint,
it, brilliant.
Mate. It's mint.
Like, proper mint.
Mint condition.
Explosive, fantastic, out of this world.
As well as being a practitioner of
Preferred patrol car, BMW 330D X-Drive, yeah. That 3 litre flat straight 6 in a BMW. Nice.
Linguistic.
Favourite TV crime show, Sherlock. Never seen that. And it was really popular, wasn't it? Benedict Cumberbatch were in it. Never watched it. Favourite food, Sunday dinner. Good lad. But yeah, BMW 330D. Nice then. X-Drive as well.
Paul's also a keen horticulturist and loves tending his garden, which is handy as knowing all about plants is invaluable.
An old mate, ex-friend of mine, had a 435 with X-Drive. Fuck me, that was fast.
And dealing with all the weed the Interceptors come across. A call's come into the control room from a member of the public about an old Fiesta.
We used to use launch control on it and we'd be at 60 in about 4 seconds. Well, no. It was literally one level down from the M4. And the difference, it barely anything. You know, it had the M Sport package on it and everything. It was basically an M4, but it was convertible. And they didn't do a convertible M4 at that point. In fact, I don't think they still do. Because it's a coupe. But yeah, that was a proper performance car.
That's ragging around a nearby estate.
Checking Tango 417 Mike Hotel November to before Fiesta Finesse in red. Insurance details not out. MOT expired in
like the
August
trim
of
level.
last year. It's not 5 off-road also.
For some reason, I think that they haven't got insurance.
Or insurance.
A tatty looking a red Fiesta.
Paul puts the hammer down to intercept. And it's not long before he's got the red Fiesta in his sights. There's little chance an Interceptor will lose his prey, but just in case, Paul dials up reinforcements.
Coming up to Haviland Road, we've just come across this Fiesta which has come out.
What sort is it?
Roger, don't light them up, going out on the road. Just put a commentary in. On the corner road now.
The Fiesta driver made a bad decision pulling out in front of an Interceptor. Now he's made another, he's heading down a cul-de-sac.
It's like he's going to be pulling up with his own accord, coming to a dead end.
With 3 young-looking lads in the car, Paul's
It's the same one as earlier, this shitty old bloody hell.
concern is he's still on his own, and they might be budding Usain Bolts.
Good man, let's have that off first. How are we doing, all right?
But these guys aren't in any shape to go running.
Hands on the dashboards, lads, hands on the dashboards. Any hands go anywhere else, people are going to be getting dragged out this car, all right? I can smell cannabis in this car, so you're all going to be searched, lads, all right? Has anybody got any drugs on them? Yes? No? Are you sure?
No.
Sure? Right, lads. You got a driving licence?
No, man.
Insurance?
No.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh is the word
In the words of Phil from Predator Exposure, you, sunshine, is fucked.
for it. No licence and no insurance, and a car stinking of weed.
Provisional? No. No? Nothing at all?
You only got a license.
Even his mates are impressed.
Right, because of that, I am going to caution you.
Stop playing.
The other interceptors have arrived. They're going to help Paul search the Fiesta.
Your van's out, mate. All right, I can put these on so you don't try and hide anything. Oh.
You got anything else on you shouldn't have?
No, not all.
Carrying out.
But Paul's found something.
Right. When I said honesty's the best policy, yeah?
Bloody yeah.
What are all those tablets in your pocket?
That'll put me to sleep on the night, mate.
Are they? Right.
What was just a routine driving offence has turned into a proper drug stop. Proper mint lake.
Dealer. Proper mint lake.
Quantity of cash on him. I think probably maybe in the region of about 300 quid. Mainly £5 notes, so ideal deal amount.
Yeah.
In his pocket there's a large amount of tablets. A few of them are in a deal style bag, cling film, tightly wrapped up. So he's going to.
Well, there might be ease. Might not be Valium at all. Might be ease. Oh yeah, you're screwed.
It's going to be coming in anyway. Doesn't look like we found any cannabis yet. Really evident as we pulled up, you could smell it.
The pill popper is only 17 and claims the pills are to help him sleep. But he must be some kind of insomniac with this amount. And there's a knife in the door of the car.
Yeah.
Quite rusty, it's quite old.
The inside of the car's like an old hash tray. There's lots of debris, but not much of real substance.
A segment of cannabis from little cannabis buds. However, it seems like they've tried to secrete it in the sides of the vehicle. It all fell out with the packaging. It's not a great deal, but there's enough for us to question them about it.
The pills will be examined forensically. At this stage, Paul reckons they're a controlled drug, so all three of the lads are being arrested.
So as well as the Class A offence, there's the offence of driving otherwise in accordance with a licence and without insurance as well. Okay.
The front seat passengers also being arrested for having the knife.
And also possession of an offensive weapon. You don't have to say anything behind your defence if you not mention one question which you may later at high court, and you do say evidence. Do you understand that?
No, not being you.
Okay, you don't. Well, okay, we'll explain to you down in custody. Do you have any reply to caution?
The boys are taken to the Nick in Middlesbrough, where they'll be strip searched for any more drugs, questioned and kept in a cell overnight before being released on police bail.
Enjoy the embarrassment. You fucking earned it.
Off to Middlesbrough custody.
Scruffs. Not too smart, are they? Pulling their hoods down when they're having their faces blurred. The minors, so they know that they're going to have their faces blurred on national telly. Oh, Darwin Award nominees.
Alright. Fashion. It's alright, you're not going out on the town.
My God.
Tests confirmed that the pills were temazepam and the sleepy...
Temazepam! Oh, wow. Yeah, that is a properly controlled drug in this country, temazepam. Well, any benzo nowadays, they're so controlled, it's next to impossible to get them in any medical setting now. You get caught with them, and it looked like he had hundreds of them, didn't it? Yeah, if he don't get time for this, I'll be very surprised. Because they are a proper, wow, temazepam.
Driver was found guilty of possession of a Class C drug and driving without a licence or insurance.
Not a bad little result, to be fair. Nice little tip off from a member of the public. Good community action, ringing the police, have confidence in us to deal with the incident. We've got on it and got 3 bodies out of it, so top result.
Shout out to whoever that was. You might have saved someone's death.
Up for the shift.
But then again, sentence? Oh well. Anyway, so there, that's an episode of Police Interceptors. Just wanted to get the ball rolling, let everybody know that we're going to be doing this. But yeah, I think this could become a nice little series for us. Because it is all comedy, isn't it? And I just felt it was time for something a bit more realistic. So I won't go on too much longer because it's a bit of a long video, this. But I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, make sure you like the video, comment, subscribe. And as I said, for the ones of these that won't be able to go on the YouTube channel, they will go on the Patreon in the $1 tier, so you can join that to get access to them, and there's so much more besides to access on the Patreon. We've got so much going on there at the moment. Recently wrapped up a series the other day, which was Dark Money. We're doing The Accident, and then after that I'm going to be doing Kiri, and also one of my longest supporters, he's been supporting me for a long time, he's requested that I do Bottom, the comedy. So we're going to be starting that soon, and he's in the $12 a month tier, I think. So people in that tier who request stuff, it's not even up for debate. I just do it. So anyway, you can check all that out in the tiers. It says, but basically, if you're in the $12 a month tier, anything you request to get done, and series that I mentioned I'm planning on doing in the future, you can actually say to me, "Oh, Luke, that series you mentioned you were gonna do in the future. Would you mind doing it now? I really like that, and I'd like to see it." You have that power in that tier, and you also get to choose which games that I stream on the gaming Twitch streams as well in that tier. Yeah, consider joining that one, but only join which one you can afford. I'm not gonna ask you to, we've got to be fair about this. So yeah, go check out the Patreon. It's a fantastic community. We've got so much going on. But that was Please Interceptors. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting into this. It's going to be good. So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you what we'll be doing next. I think Chewing the Fat next. Yep, long overdue. When was the last one? 4th of August. Oh, yes. 12 days ago. Jesus. I mean, we recently started Still Game, so I guess that put it to the back of my mind, see Still Game 2 days after. Yeah, 4 days after, sorry. So I'd have forgotten about it then. But, yeah, next Hogmanay special coming up. Thanks, guys. Much love. See ya.